All right, what's going on, everybody? I have one of my clients in my coaching program, that girl, Casey. She has a great YouTube channel, and I'll let her talk about it a little bit. But I did just want to do this interview, kind of asking her some questions because she's hit some big milestones recently. Want to have her talk about her experience within the coaching program, where she was before, where she is now, and kind of, hopefully provide some value to you on how she got there. Maybe you can learn some things from her journey as well. So go ahead and introduce yourself just a little bit, Casey. Tell them about your YouTube channel.
What's up, everybody? My name is Casey. My channel is called That Girl Casey. I started doing YouTube in 2021. On my channel, we make the inconvenient truth great again. We talk about everything, all the topics, we get into it, whatever's considered controversial. Right now, we're focused on this whole transgender movement that's happening with children and talking about the biggest transgender influencer for kids. I am Jazz. So just talking about the realities of making a decision like that. 3 years ago when I started my YouTube, I did not think that I would be all the way where I'm at today. It took a long time, but meeting with Justin, now it's all clicking and making sense and going where I want it to go.
Yeah, cool. And just to give, I don't know if you mentioned this or not, but you're a nurse, right?
Yes, I am a nurse. I'm a registered nurse. Yes.
Yeah. So it gives like a little bit of different perspective on her channel for the things that she talks about. So yeah, if you haven't, heard of Casey before, make sure you go check out some of her content. She makes some good stuff. But I just want to ask, a few questions, kind of, probe your mind a bit on the journey that you've had, not just within the program, but, help the people out that are watching, hopefully provide some value to them on how they can grow their channels as well. So kind of give them a little bit of insight into where you were before joining, not just numbers wise on your channel, but emotionally, like how you were feeling about YouTube and approaching it and stuff like that before joining and before I started like officially helping you with the channel.
Yeah, there's definitely been a transformation. So like I said, when I first started the channel, if anybody watches like my first episode, I'm barely looking in the camera. My channel, when I first started it, it was after the COVID era, but getting into like different mandations and stuff like that. So I just wanted to drop off a couple videos because I had some colleagues of mine that were trying to argue with me about certain topics when it came to COVID. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna just make a few videos, drop them off on YouTube, and then they could just go there for a reference. But when the mandations came, I saw myself continuously making videos about the situation because it got serious. So, and it affected me and my colleagues and the medical, like the whole medical industry. So that was the thing. And I did that for a while. But again, YouTube was not, so my mind was never like, you're going to be a YouTuber. Like somebody even said to me like, hey, maybe you could be a YouTuber. And I'm like, yo, I'm about to be 40. Like, I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to be a dream. That's so loserish, right? 40 years. But anyway, because, you've not programmed to think like that. You're thinking like, I have a career, I will go to work, I make the money, and then I do little hobbies, right? Yeah. So, but then the channel started to transform because after a while, I felt like I gave enough information about what was going on with COVID. Plus, I almost lost the channel. So I was like, you know what, let me fall back on this for a little bit. The information is there. And then it got political because, again, we were going into wars and stuff. And so then I started talking about political things. But then I started making connections on YouTube. And then one day it just hit me like, I actually like doing this. And it even got to the point where like I thought about it at work, where before it was more of a chore to think about, but I was thinking about it at work. But I didn't think, I was like, man, I don't think I'll ever become like big. Like, how do you get big on this? All these people who are here, because it feels like a jungle. You don't know how to navigate through it, especially when you never thought about doing this at all in your life. So, and it's not like school, like when you're learning nursing, it's like, here's the books, here's the, the levels, past the levels, that's it, right? This to me was like a whole brand new canvas. So, I started to do pretty okay this year, but I had gotten to a point, I believe in the summer, I don't know, man, like I started to get, like I was losing my mojo. I guess you could say depressed. I don't know what was making me feel that way, but a very lackluster, just moving like routinely. But around that time, oh, I thought you said something. So around that time, that's when I started like listening to Justin on his channel. It was a little bit before summer actually. And the minute I heard Justin's voice, I was like, oh, this guy sounds pretty cool. And so then I would like constantly I was like, constantly like listening and wait. Like first of all, let me just say, like, that is so decent. Like, God is so good. Because back in, I think, when was this, like April and May with that whole Eliza?
Yeah.
And if somebody would have told me, like, that's going to be your coach, I would have been like, you're absolutely insane. But like, I used to rush, like, you don't think this is creepy a little bit, but like when it would be lunchtime, I'm like, let me go see if Justin got a new video. So like, I used to rush to the car, like, oh yeah, he got the new Eliza Food Truck. So this is really like I'm like humbled and honored, like, oh my gosh, like, because I was a fan, straight up and down. And so, but still playing around. And sometimes I had hits. I had hits on certain episodes and it fed my dopamine, but then I would make another episode that had nothing to do with the last episode that I had a hit with. So then it wouldn't hit as hard. So I'd be like, I don't know what I did wrong there. So you asking all these questions. And then towards, like the end of summer, that's when I connected with like you and Matt. And then, everything happened with your channel and you came, you felt this vision to help others and create an army of like good people trying to, influence the right way. I feel like that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And when you said it, like, I was like, I really was for some reason in September, I was at a really low place in my life. I guess I'm just realizing it now. I turned 40 this year. That's what it was. And I felt like, this is turning into something else. And I felt like I didn't get to like what I should be doing at 40. And so I started to let certain thoughts take over my mind. But something, God was like, yo, just take the money and go do this coaching or whatever. But when I came to to you for coaching, my thing still, it was like, all right, Justin's going to tell me what to do. And then right away, I'm just going to, 100,000, subscribers. And that's it. Right. Like, but that's not what it's meant to be. So throughout this journey, I'm now with you, like literally learning the technique. It's making sense. And then I look back to like, even what you taught me about with like finding your niche, your circle, and then milking that circle. I didn't think about that because there were plenty of times that I could have did that on my channel before, but I was still just like going all over the place. It actually feels now like, with nursing school where I'm like, we got levels and it's 1, 2, 3. I'm not navigating through a jungle by myself. You actually guiding us, through this jungle, and there's a path and it makes sense. So, and even with this coaching, it's not just about YouTube. It ends up becoming something where I actually feel like now I have more control over my life, if that makes more sense. Like I don't doubt myself as much. Obviously still working on everything, but definitely not the same person who first joined this coaching experience.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit more. If you see me looking down, I'm just writing some stuff down that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I wanted to go a little bit deeper on the part that you said you thought you were going to join and then immediately hit 100,000 subscribers. So many people feel like all they need is the knowledge, and that's true. Like they definitely do need the knowledge if you want to pass everybody else up. But something that a lot of people overlook is they think that there are shortcuts to life. I think the closest thing that we have to a shortcut is coaching programs. I did a video a couple of weeks ago talking about how I spent $25,000 on coaching programs this year. And I said I wanted to hit 50K next year. I actually hit 50K this year. I spent another $25,000 in the last couple months. Yeah. And because I just believe in coaching programs so much, but there is no shortcuts. That coaching is the closest thing that we have to shortcuts because you just pay someone who has done what you want to do and they just tell you how to get there. But you still have to become the person capable. So if knowledge was enough, then you can just go read a book on how to become a millionaire and become a millionaire overnight. You have to become the person capable of making $1 million. Getting a coach that has done it, it just makes the process a lot quicker, but it's still not an overnight thing. And then you were also talking about, I don't remember exactly how you mentioned it, but you were talking about people getting stuck in the 9-to-5 lifestyle. Yeah. I saw a great tweet. I think it was a tweet. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. A tweet for sure. And it was like most people's lives nowadays are just wake up, look at small screen, go to work, look at medium screen, come home, look at big screen, and then repeat the process over and over. And it's just like, man, so many people are trapped. Yeah. That's why I love, and like you said, with nursing, there's like a clear blueprint on how to get from point A to point B, like how to get hired as a nurse. It's very clear. You study, you take tests, you get certified, whatever, and you get a job. But then it's like capped on how much you can make and in what period of time. What I love about YouTube and other like entrepreneurial endeavors is if you have the work ethic and you also have access to the right knowledge, you can pass everyone else up at your own pace. Like I'm the type of person who's like, I see a goal and I'm just not going to stop until I reach it. And as long as you have the right knowledge and, you know, the right people around you, and then you have the right work ethic, the sky is like literally the limit. Whereas with, you know, jobs, you're kind of capped on how fast you can go, how much you can make and stuff like that.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but you know what, just what you just said, there was a part like, because before I became a registered nurse, I was a licensed practical nurse. And so I have a lot of experience. And there was a time in my life where, you know, when I first became a registered nurse, I would say like, oh, I want to work at a hospital. I want to see if I can handle that. And then it'd be like, oh, I want to work at the jail. I want to see if I can handle it. I want to do this. So I could. And I got to this point, though, where I'm getting bored with it. And I'm not trying to act like, you know, I'm some expert. Right.
Right.
But there's only so many different like levels you can get with it. Like to say, oh, I could do med surg. Oh, I could put an IV. And I love the fact that I have all those skills. But getting a job, you know, first it was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna get this job, to like, no, yeah, I got it. So, and in a way, again, not being selfish, but it became less challenging. So I think that was also adding on to me being like, oh, what are you doing? Because it's like, after a while, you get bored. And so the ultimate thing to me after a while, I was like, I need to do something, like own something or something that is a challenge. So this is very like fulfilling. It really is. Yeah.
One thing that I talk about all the time is I hated building other people's dream life. Like I wanted to build my own. Right. I hated the feeling I was building someone else's. And, you know, somebody that I've actually, you know, helped grow their channels, Justin Waller. He's been a great mentor to me in other parts of life, but I've helped him out with YouTube and stuff. Right. He told me something one time and he said, you could tell the size of a man by the size of his problems. You should always chase after bigger problems because if you just stuck, you know, solving the same problems, you're not going to grow as a person and you're going to feel extremely unfulfilled. So always like, you know, find the bigger problem. And, you know, people are complaining. And then obviously you don't want problems like health problems and stuff like that, but business problems and growth problems you do want. People are complaining that they can't pay their, you know, phone bill for the month, where Justin Waller is, you know, having to pay $1 million payrolls monthly. And it's like, that's what he's talking about, you know, find problems like that. So that makes sense for sure. So let's kind of talk about where you are now. You kind of touched on it a little bit, but I know you just hit a milestone on your channel recently, so you can talk about that. And then also like outside of YouTube as well, just kind of give a little rundown of, you know, the difference between when you started and where you are now.
Right. So if we talk about YouTube first, all right, my numbers, like I said, when I first started the channel, I was not worried about, oh, I have to get a bunch of subscribers, you know, or any of that. I just was doing whatever. But now there is a consistent climb. Matter of fact, right before I started with the program, I was at this point where like I couldn't get any subscribers. Like even if I did have an episode that did okay, I didn't even get one. And then I was noticing that like I was losing 2 or 3. And I had gotten to, I think I cried one day. I'm being so vulnerable right now because I was like, what am I doing wrong? I was like, you know, I just was like, I don't think this is for me. Then if I can't do this, then what? I'm saying, first of all, women, you know, we get very like, everything is the end of the world. Like, oh, it's over, you know. So, but you know, real feelings, you know. And I was again that whole turning 40 thing. I'm like, you know, it really messed with my mind, which I'm usually not like that, but this time it did. So I was at a rut. And then I was at a standstill at 1,000, right? For somebody who had a channel for this long, I should have really had more. But number one, I didn't know what I was doing. And then I lost my mojo. And then, so when I got with you in the program, I think in the beginning, I was all right. So yeah, definitely you helped me with the thumbnails. That was a big help already. As I started feeling confident about that. But just, the routine, the way you explained it. First of all, the way you explained it took a lot of anxiety away, where I wasn't feeling necessarily like, oh my God, I can't make a good episode. But you explained it like you're putting out feelers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing about the coaching program. A lot of the depression and anxiety that a person goes through when they do it by themselves, you end up not having it as much because there's somebody guiding you like, no, this is normal. Stick with it. What you want to do is, why don't we, do this with the thumbnail or something? Stick with this. You got this. And it's good to hear that. It is. And you don't realize that until somebody actually tells you that. Like, I didn't realize, like, there were times where you would tell me that and you would be like, I know you overthinking it. You would say something that I was thinking.
Yeah.
And I guess I was too scared to say it. I don't know. Somebody pays for a program, you should say everything. And you're just like,
yeah, it's like when you've been through the same thing. I've been through it all, like myself, so many times.
Yes.
I've been through all the stages a ton of times. Yeah, I've quit and came back. I've had channels banned and restarted. Like, I've done it so many times that I know psychologically, like, the toll it can take on you. And I know, like, what people are thinking at certain periods in their channel.
Exactly.
So,
like,
yeah.
you would say something as I'm thinking it. Like, or I think one time you were like, perfection. It's something you say about, like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, make the video, like, obviously not
finish. Yeah, finish is better than perfect. That's what.
Yes, that's what it was. The first time I heard you say that, I was like, wow, that's so like. And you're probably like, oh, just a few words. But I was like, that's just so enlightening. Like, yeah, that makes sense. And you were just like, put out the video, move on to the next. Like, don't sit there and ruminate on it. And a lot of that you cleaned up for me. So now I'm at a point where I can figure out, especially right now. It was actually pretty cool because we were on a meeting and I had already made all these other videos, putting out feelers and everything. And then I looked down and all of a sudden this I Am Jazz video, it just shot up. Like, it had like 300 views in 24 hours. And I was like, wait a minute, Justin, something's happening here with this. And you were like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I just got a bunch of views. Like, yo, oh my God, all of a sudden it's blown up. You're like, don't put out any of those other videos. Go right now, make an I Am Jazz video. I was like, I'm on it, and it made sense. And, it made sense. So then I started like pushing them out. Also, you prepare us too for the, what is it? Not, I don't want to call it the letdown phase. There was another phase that another name that you called it, with the hockey stick or whatever.
Oh yeah, like the pit of despair is what I call it.
Pit of despair. Yeah. You prepare us for that, right? Because so now I'm pumping out these videos and I'm sticking with it. Number one, I really do like this topic. It's a shame that we have this topic, but it merges everything about me, like assessment, nursing, social and all that, and just everything terrible that's Christianity, right? So so it's just the perfect topic for me, and I could go on forever. And then I bring another flair to it, obviously, like we said, with the science of it and everything else. So now I notice my last video that I put out is not spiking as fast as the other ones, but I'm not here like, oh, I guess this is done. I'm done milking this. Let me go. I'm like, no, this is that part of the hockey stick. Keep with it. This subject, first of all, people are interested in it. I do have comments of people saying, wow, I never thought about it this way. Oh my gosh, I didn't know this or whatever. So don't just jump trying to find the next shiny thing. Like you said, stick with this. And, so again, it doesn't feel as much like the pit of despair. If that's even where I'm at, I don't know. But I'm not looking for this letdown that I've had before. So, and then in the past week, I think I gained it had to be at least 90 subscribers already. My watch time has gone up to 15,000 or something. Like, it is going up. I'm seeing numbers I've never seen. And then now I'm fully monetized. And the beauty of that too, with your help, I had set a goal for myself because because before I started I feel like I'm all over the place, so I'm landing it. Before I started the program, when I did get a little bit of subscribers or whatever, and then I was like, okay, how do I get monetized? And I had looked at my watch time hours, and I was like, I need 3,000 hours. I was like, I'm never gonna get there. Like, how do you do this? And with your help, it didn't feel like, I was like, it was going to take me another year. That's literally what I thought. And then with your help, I wrote down a goal like be AdSense monetized by the end of the year. And it happened right before the last day of the year and everything. And I was just like,
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
like yeah.
That's so
Like,
crazy. That same thing happened to me. And congrats on being monetized, by the way. I feel like you should have
thank
made that
you.
a bigger deal because it's like a very small percentage of people get monetized.
Oh wow.
But that's funny. The first time I hit 1,000 subscribers, I was going through. I was trying to make a long Instagram post yesterday, like explaining like my entire story, and I was going through like all the screenshots that I had, and it's pretty crazy. Like that first 1,000 is probably the best feeling out of all of them,
Mm.
and I remember telling my friend Dylan, who I also coach with YouTube. Um, I remember telling him that I was going to hit 1,000 before the end of the year. I had like 100 subscribers, something like that, and it was December, like in December, and I had been doing YouTube for a few months. Yeah, and I was like, I'm going to hit 1,000 before the end of the year, and he was like, Yeah, man, speak it into existence. I could tell he didn't really like believe me, and I was like, No, like I'm serious. I'm going to do it. He's like, All right, and then on New Year's Eve, I hit 1,000. Like literally December 31st, I hit 1,000. And
Yeah.
I remember just like waking up the next day, I was on top of the world. Like I felt like the
Right.
man. I was like, I made it, dude. 1,000 subscribers. Let's go.
I mean, yeah, like when you, yes, like first of all, you said you were doing that. You started off like 100 or whatever in the
Yeah.
beginning of the month, and then actually, like, yeah, you should definitely feel like the man. It took me 3 years to get to
No, it's crazy. On New Year's Eve, I had a video that hit at 100,000 views, and I had never had a video go over like 10K. On New Year's Eve, I remember like fireworks going off outside. I posted it on New Year's Eve. I got 100K views on New Year's Eve. I didn't like. I was fully committed. Like everybody else is like partying and stuff on New Year's Eve, and I'm just like, no, I'm posting videos. Like I gotta hit 1,000. I got 12 hours left. I got 12 hours and like 800 subscribers to go.
Yo, but you see, like that is a huge testimony. And again, somebody who doesn't know what they're doing to hear that, like that's why I love about your coaching is that you've been through so many parts of this journey, parts that I probably still don't know yet, you know?
Yeah.
And so you're able to guide us through all of this and like just that feeling like when I saw that, because it's funny because that day I was like, let me see how many more I need. And I was like, stop obsessing over. I was like, I'm gonna just check one more time and then I'll come back in 5 days. And it was like, all right, yay. And it was like the big, like, whatever the celebration thing. And I was like, oh my God, like it was exciting. I guess I'm so not used to like making a big deal over myself, but that is a big deal. And I am very grateful for it. And it did make me feel like, all right, yeah, now I could conquer anything, like, all right, bring the battle. Like, so I'm just like hungry, like I can't wait to just do more and more and more. It's like, I don't know, it's like this momentum that it woke up something inside of me. So that's the YouTube part of your question. And then everything else. So I'm sure there are many other YouTube coaches out there who have a program. But I have not tried all the other ones, but I feel like yours is different. And I feel like I'm comfortable saying that without going to check out everybody else, because it ended up turning into more than just YouTube. And that's why it wasn't meant for me to just, all right, in a month, I'm going to have 100,000, you know what I mean? Like, that's not what it's about, because the journey is like the learning and you're becoming a different person. When I watched one of your videos, when you said that, like, all the struggles, everything you've went through is making you the person that you're meant to be, to, when you're succeeding and just like dealing with life differently. Like I said, again, before I started the program, like I was broken and I'm not going to be like, and I'm happy. Like, I don't like when people, get fake with it. Right. But I'm not that same person, but it's crazy because I'm looking like back and I'm like, yo, dang, something really had a hold on me. And I have things that I'm going through and obstacles that I'm trying to fix, like, obviously outside of YouTube and stuff, but it doesn't feel like the end of the world. Literally, there was a moment in my life where literally everything felt like the end of the world. And I was just a broken person. And I walked out of, I'm really being vulnerable. Around that time, I was making a lot of money, which is crazy because I had the potential to make a lot of money being a nurse, but I hated going to work. Like, I hated it. And I didn't take it out on the patients. Let me be very clear. I could leave that at the door because, my patients, they didn't ask to be there. I would never, but inside it was like dread, and it was just horrible. It was just the worst 12 hours. And it's not that the facility was bad. It just was what it was. It's leaving me, And I'm like, I can't do this. And I walked away from that job, like not really knowing the next step. I do have another job now, and it's less money, but it gives me more time to work on me and like my channel and everything else that I want to do. And that's another reason why I was not in a good place, because I just was getting up, going to work. Like you said, it was just like this routine, going to work, coming home, being so exhausted. By the time I'm like, all right, turn on the computer and trying to make a video, I can't even look straight at the screen. So it was draining me. So that was part of it. And then there was certain things you were saying. There was books that you told me to be like psycho-cybernetics. You send videos about other stuff. It doesn't have to do with YouTube, but you program the person to see, number one, their potential, and then to practically think of implementing the changes that they need to have, in order to reach the success of, we'll say, YouTube, but other things come along with it too. So my confidence is definitely at another level than it was before. I'm feeling like me again, and I'm just really, you have no idea how grateful I am. Like, I don't mean to be, I really am grateful.
Yeah, of course. That's why, that's why I chose this path. I could have easily grown in the next channel that I made to 100K. Like, I still might do that just for fun. Like, I'm kind of itching to get back to doing that stuff. Yeah, but I you know how I am. I can only do one thing at a time. Like, I just go all in. But that's one thing that, trying to do things that most people aren't willing or capable of doing. Going through that fire will like prepare you for almost anything to happen. I remember having a conversation, before my main channel got banned, with one of my friends, and I was saying, like, I truly believe that no matter what happens right now, as long as it's not health related to me or my family, I'll be fine. Like, I'll be able to get through it pretty easily because of all the things that I've been through, like building up these businesses. And then my channel got banned, and it sucked, like, for sure. Like, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, but I immediately was like, all right, it got banned. Like, now what? Like, on to the next thing. I don't care. Like, because at that point I had, like, I'd become the person capable. Like, I talk about all the time. Like, I had the skills. I knew that I could do it again if I wanted to. I also knew that I could pivot and go somewhere else if I wanted to.
Right. And I have to hand it to you, because even though, like, I was like, he'll be fine, but bro, I would have been like, nobody called me for a week. I'm mourning. Like,
it was tough. Like, I'm not gonna lie. When people try to talk to me, like, outside of YouTube, if anybody tried to mention to me anything else other than what am I going to do next, it was like, shut up. Like, why are you talking to me? I need to make something happen right now. But it wasn't like, I didn't think the world was ending, or like, so many people have that scarcity mindset where they have their one thing, and then when that one thing goes away, it's just like, oh, I can't, like, that's just the end for me now. Like, dude, if that's the case and you didn't develop the skills, like, then you got lucky anyway. You weren't even the person capable.
Right. But still, I do commit. I hear what you're saying, and you're right. Like, you weren't lying to us or anything. You did tell us how you felt, like, that you were not happy, and there were moments where you were upset. What I'm saying is, you still handled that very well. Like, I mean, that was like, because I remember you were like blowing up. One thing though, people know who you are and they respect you. Because I remember the community really rallied around you. Like, I found that very touching on Twitter. Like, everybody was like, yo, like, yeah. I
had a lot of like big names like reach out to me that I was shocked. And there was definitely some people who were happy that I was going to, but it is what it is. I could go past them up tomorrow if I wanted to. But yeah, it is what it is. I like what I'm doing now a lot more. You don't know nowadays, and I don't want to make this too much about me. We'll move on to more about you in a second. But I used to wake up and check my YouTube studio to see how many views I got. And now I check like your channel and like everybody else's channel. And it's like way more rewarding to see your views go up and the other people in the program's views go up than my own. And it's always been like that. Like, I've always tried to help my friends. Like, I always tried to help Matt. Like, I found Matt with like 50 subs and I was like, oh, he's like a good dude. And he also seems like, he'd be cool to hang out with. So I'm going to, help him out with his channel. And not like, we weren't even friends. I wasn't planning on being friends. I was just like, I just want to help this guy out. Like, I'm giving him some point. And I still do that all the time. Like I'll see people posting their videos on Twitter and I'm like, oh, this thumbnail sucks. Like you need to change this. And then I'll just tell them exactly how to do it. And they're always super grateful. But I just like helping people, you know, and it's like, it's way more rewarding than doing it myself, even though it's fun for myself.
And that's the other thing. And this isn't, it's not just making it about you, but this is also me, was watching who you were as a person. Because when I went to your first live, like when you were doing lives or whatever on the Justin is Lost channel, and I saw you were doing lives with, because you do have big numbers already from, you know, like when the Lives of Blue stuff was happening. And then I saw you were doing lives with Matt. I think it was Yeti. And these people, and I don't judge people by their numbers because the lives were fun, right? But they didn't have like 30,000 subscribers. And I'm like, who is this guy? Like, he doesn't even, you know, like, because you know how people like fraud, like, oh no, yeah, how many subscribers you have? I don't want to talk. So I was like, it feels like he's like a normal person. And that's number one. So like you had a vibe of like a genuine person. Then there was something else you said right before what happened to your channel. You said, I feel like, because the type of videos that you were making, you were talking about serious things, you know, and you were like, I feel like I'm part of a battle, like we have to battle for the heart of this country or something. It was something like that. And I think, no, I know, like, that's why God was like, yeah, but you got to do it differently, not just with episodes. Like, you know, you got to spread out your army. And I just, you know, I'm just grateful again to be a part of, you know, a soldier in this army, because it's just like I said, it feels really fulfilling. And it's not just a coach saying, all right, do this, do this, do this, do that, and then come back, you know. So
yeah, awesome. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being a part of it. Well, let's get back into, you know, trying to provide some value to the people. So what would you say, and you know, this can be YouTube related, non-YouTube related, we'll do both. What would you say is like the biggest takeaways, what's helped you the most from in the program? And you might have answered it already, but just kind of dive deep on it if you can. Whichever one you want to do first, YouTube related or non-YouTube. Biggest lesson learned.
So YouTube related, you know, you would think of something practical like how to make thumbnails, which thank you, because I feel like I'm, you know, definitely way better at it. But it's more, again, of the emotional part of it. I'm a female, so everything comes with emotions. So it's the part of not having the anxiety of the scarcity mindset, walking us through that. That is more important, I think, that people understand. Or even the mindset of not having shame. Should I be doing this? Should I be doing, like, you definitely like break us out of that. Like, yo, post a video. It's not just the practical stuff. It's getting in your head. And so that's been the biggest help for me with the program. That was the question, right? Like, what was the biggest help or whatever?
Yep.
Yeah. It's the mindset change, period. The tenacity, you know, it's part of the 5 T's. It's 5 T's, yeah. And so yeah, which then transfers into my regular life, my outside life. It's the same way. I'm not afraid or thinking twice. So outside of YouTube, I am building my brand, and people do know me on Twitter. And like when I go on Twitter Spaces, I'm not like nervous. I just go in with confidence. I speak, I say what I need to say. And, you know, it's just being able to tackle like other goals in a practical manner. Like practicality is so, it's really like, it's a gem, like a treasure, because people set goals and then you almost feel like, how am I going to reach these goals? But you give us like realistic, practical ways of doing it. You know, you keep it very real with us. Even that video you sent me the other day when the guy was like, you know, you're acting like you can't wait to go work out. You can't wait to do this, that, the third. You don't. 99% of people want to lay down or whatever. So, okay, like, let's get over that. Like I like that when people just keep it like, okay, so I'm not the only one who feels like this. Like, all right, now let's get up and get this done. So, you know, it's just helping people to get out of their heads. We make so many traps in our own minds. So that for me has been the biggest thing both ways, getting out of my mind and the traps that I've set for myself. But I didn't realize I was setting. I'm gonna not this week because we have we have Lou, we have a YouTuber coming on like as a guest speaker for this week on our group call on Saturday. But on the next one after that, I'm gonna do a talk about how, I wrote down a bunch of things. It's like a little like mental exercise that you do in a notebook. And one of the things that I wrote down is like daily activities that I wrote down. It's like a small part of it
one of the things that I wrote down, the last thing I underlined, I circled it and everything, is protect my mind. Because it's like, if you don't protect it, it's just, especially in the things that we're trying to do, it's very difficult. And people like in my life don't understand. I get very, not offended, but like I don't like hearing them say certain things. I don't even like when people call like what I'm trying to do a dream. Like even like language like that pisses me off, because it's like, it's not a dream. Like I'm doing it right now. I'm not dreaming it. But just like protecting your mind from like little things like that. And that's another reason why I tell y'all to stop looking at the view count, stop looking at the studio, because that's, it's just helping you get past the trap that I had already been in. When I was telling you about that 100K video that I hit on New Year's Eve, I looked at that YouTube studio so many times, kept refreshing to see the fireworks so many times. It's a great feeling. But then when you're used to that feeling, you don't want to ever let it go. So now you're thinking like, I don't want to post another video unless it's for sure going to go viral, because I don't want to lose that 1 out of 10. I don't want to lose that 100,000 views. So, and then if you're looking at videos that are getting no views, then you're going to think, oh, I don't get any views on YouTube. So it's just bad all around to look at the view count over and over. It's better to just continue to put the inputs in. And then eventually, like, this entire year, I don't even remember. I was just in the tunnel. And, when my channel got banned, that's when like the first time that I picked my head up out the tunnel. And I realized like how far I've come like as a person, like, and that's how it has to be if you actually want to be successful with anything. You have to stay in the tunnel. Just keep your head down and keep putting in the inputs, and it'll happen.
And you know what? If that finally clicked. So you told me to do that in the first, obviously in the beginning, you were like, yo, just put out videos. Don't look at the views. Don't look at the views. But the person who I was, I still was like, all right, don't like, it was like this stupid, and I still was like, all right, real quick. And it's oh my God. Like, what are you doing? Right.
Yeah.
And so, but right before this I Am Jazz thing happened, I don't know, I sat down one day, I said, yo, nah, because I said to you, it's a slow news week, so I don't know what to do. He was like, stop talking like that. And you're like, it's not a slow news week. He said, stop. You're like, stop saying these things. Just make videos, like, and then you gave me some ideas, and I was like, you know what? He's right. And then it clicked. That week, I was like, yo, F that. I'm just making videos. And I started to do that where I wasn't even looking at the views. I was just putting stuff out. That's why I happened to notice when we were on the meeting that day. But I wasn't even like putting stuff out to say like, oh, all right, let me go see what else it has. No, I had finally, 2.5, 3 months later, gotten that zone that you were talking about where don't look at the views. And I'm like, oh, I can't. It wasn't even a battle. I was like, all right, just start putting stuff out. So
yeah, because your mind will start to justify your like lack of action and lack of results by saying things like, oh, it's just a slow news week, or oh, YouTube must have changed its algorithm. Like, no, it didn't. You're just not working hard enough. Like, just put the work in. And that'll separate you from everybody else. That's what separated me. That'll separate anybody else from any niche that you're in. Is other people are going to make the excuses of, oh, it's a slow news week, or I'm posting 5 videos in a day, and they're like, oh, it's a slow news week. They don't even post 5 videos the whole week, and it's like, obviously, I'm going to pass them. But anyway, let's get back to hopefully giving people advice. What's one piece of YouTube advice that you would give people? It doesn't even have to be that you learned from me. Just maybe you learned it yourself, whatever it is. Even if you've already mentioned it already, just kind of reiterate for the people the best piece of YouTube advice that you can think of.
I think, again, it is that mindset of putting in the input. It makes sense. It's true. Like, don't get caught up in like looking at the numbers. Like, make the video, put it out, and then keep it moving. Don't overthink. There it is in a nutshell. Don't overthink. Because when you start overthinking, like, oh, I don't like the way I sound in this one, let me redo it. I don't like the way this looks. Like, I mean, this was when I first started the channel. I did a whole, like, I sat there and talked for like 30 minutes, watched it back, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't like the way my face looks. I got to redo it again. That type of overwhelming feeling would make you be like, never mind, I'm done with it. Because can you imagine 30 minutes and then I'm going back and doing it again? It shouldn't take 7 hours just to make like one video. Yeah. So a lot of it is overthinking. Obviously, again, you're not making trash videos. The more you do it, the better you get at it, where you'll notice like, oh, I could get through this sentence without stopping and looking for my words. So it's less editing that I need to do to make this video. So the more you do it, don't overthink it. The more you do it, like anything else, it becomes, you get better at it. It's practice. You get better. Don't overthink it. Don't underestimate yourself. Like just get in the tunnel. So, and I'm just learning that now, 3 years later, to get in the tunnel. I'm not mad that I'm just learning that. I'm just saying that's part of my journey, but it makes sense. It's clicking. It's feeling like now, because of that, it's feeling like a real, like it's a journey. It's a real, like one of my pathways, like is my career. Yeah, is getting there, because I would have never said that. First of all, I wouldn't have said that, and even in the beginning of the year, I didn't look at it as a career. It still was something that I was doing. It's my career now. So
yeah, I mean, right now you're looking at it as a potential career. You're gonna be amazed that whenever you make more money from it, because there's so much money to be made from it, it's actually ridiculous. Like the video that I sent you, your standard is going to be different. There's so many different ways to say it. People say like changes aren't made when your goals are raised. It's made when your standards are raised. But you're always going to sink back down in your standard and rise to your standard. Like the video was talking about, if your standard is $2,000 in your bank account and you fall to 1,000, you're going to find a way to get back up to 2. And if your standard is 2K and you get up to 5,000, you're going to find a way to sabotage yourself back down to 2. Like right now, your standard is your standard. Your standard is that mindset that you're in right now, where this could be my career. In a few months, whenever you have a big month on YouTube and you make $10,000 in a month, then your standard is going to be, oh, my standard is 10,000 now, and you're not going to drop below, and you're not going to go much higher. So it's just like small changes that raise your standard over time is what's going to make the difference. And right now, as long as the best thing you could do is just be aware of like what your standard is right now, and try to raise it mentally, incrementally over time. So right now your standard is, this could possibly be a career for me, but that's just your standard right now. And I think even like my standards in my career are very limiting to me. That's also a limiting standard for you, because the potential of your channel, even right now, this second, is way higher than a potential career. Like literally,
yeah.
Everybody's one video away from changing their life, but the position that your channel is in right now, where it's like consistently getting thousands of views every single video, or almost every single video, it's like actually so close, you don't even realize.
Right.
And then it's just going to happen one day, and you're going to be like, what was I thinking? This should have been the standard the whole time, and then it'll just keep raising over time. Hopefully that made sense to you and the
it does,
watching.
and it does, and like this is real time, like like I said, like you said, incremental, like as time goes on, the words would be different. For me to say though, it's my career. Obviously, I mean, okay, I'm not paying, like I just got AdSense. I'm not saying like I'm paying my bills, but this is actually priority number one for me. Now I'm not gonna call out of work every day or anything, right? Because I have to make sense. But I have called out, like, you know what, I need to just get these videos in. That might sound crazy to somebody else. It doesn't sound crazy to me, because the ROI, like how you always say, the return on investment, like again, I could stay late another day or whatever if I need to, but I need to do this because this is for me. The investment is me. So that's the change already that's happening, because if you would have told me 2 years ago that I would do something like that, like I'm going to call out to make videos. Again, I was doing YouTube. I'd have been like, no, I'm not crazy. I have bills to pay. What do you mean? This is my career as nursing. So there's a transformation that's happening where, sky's the limit, but, obviously with steps getting to sky being the limit, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's so hard. Everybody's been brainwashed for so long into thinking certain things are like, what they should be. You should just work a job that you don't want to work for the rest of your life. You should just make a certain amount of money. And people just put these like artificial caps, and you can't truly like realize, like you can think that you realize, but you can't truly realize how easy it is to make a ton of money until it happens. And I haven't made a ton of money yet. The most that I've made is like 30 plus a month, and people who are close to me are making multiple 6 figures a month. And it's like, just, being around those people, which is going to like lead me into the next question, being around those people who are doing that, it's absolutely priceless, because now that is my standard just because of osmosis. So I'm like putting myself around those people to make that my standard, so that I raise inevitably to the standard that I'm setting through being around these people, which kind of leads me to the next question. What do you think is the best component of the coaching program? And what I mean by that is, for me, it's the community. And that's just me personally, because that's basically every coaching program that I go into. Is the community is the most valuable part, because of what I just said, being around other people who are on the same mission as me, who my standards get raised through osmosis, but also people who understand like the struggles that I'm going through. Like I said, the people who are in my life, they'll use certain language that I really don't like, and being around other people who are on the same mission and trying to better themselves and in business and life in general, it's like absolutely priceless. So that's what I would say is probably the most valuable part. What would you say is the most important part and most valuable part to you?
Yes, I probably did answer it already. It is the personal level of it. I guess, I guess it absolutely is the personal level of where you're learning about YouTube, but you're also learning about how to implement these changes in your life. Like, you're teaching us how to become the person who can be successful in YouTube. It shouldn't be, first of all, in YouTube, you really shouldn't just like make 5 videos and then like get 1 million like people to watch. And I mean, if that's what happens, like that's what happens. I'm not, whatever, right? But if you do lose it, which, because we know it can happen, you would be left there kind of like, oh my God, like in a desert by yourself, like you don't know what to do. Having a coach, number one, who's been through that and then has so much confidence, like, yeah, I could. I mean, the other day you said it to me, you was like, oh yeah, no, I know I could go like 7-10 channels. I was like,
Yeah,
that's what's up. Like, first of all, you need your coach to be that confident about what he's teaching you. But also you are teaching us to be the people who can be successful at YouTube, in a sense, so that like these things that I'm learning, if I want to at some point later on down the line do another channel or whatever, or really anything else, like as far as content creating, I know what work it takes to be successful in that genre. So
yeah,
like I said, I came in, I just want a fast fix. I just want to hurry up and get, 100K and not have to work and da da da. Like, no, I need to be this person. I need this piece of like clarity of mind, so I can become the person who can have routines that bring success, and to constantly have like different levels of what success means, where I'm not like, all right, I reached the top, I'm done. To almost understand that there is no top, but that's probably like a whole nother topic. But
yeah, for sure. That's definitely a goal of mine, is to not just, there's a ton of programs out there, like you said earlier, and you join them. They're just basically just a glorified course where they'll tell you the exact actions to take, and you do them, and you might see success, you might not. But what I pride myself on is giving people the tools and the skills so that they can have success, for sure, but also whenever they leave, they can continue to have success after without me. So they understand why I'm telling them to do everything. They understand the mindsets that it takes in order to achieve what they want to achieve, everything that's involved. Like you said, just becoming the all-around person that's capable of doing it. That's great to hear that I'm on the right track with that. So yeah, just a couple of last questions. What's your next steps? Like, what's your plan for the future with YouTube?
So my plan for the future with YouTube is to still, keep making the content. I'm trying to get a schedule going where I'll be going live more to talk about like the other things that I'm going to talk about, but not as much on YouTube. My plans really is content creation media. So it's not to say just YouTube, but I want to just grow my voice so that I can reach more people. And again, this is where this comes in too, because again, this is like new territory. This a girl who went to nursing school was now talking about doing all of this. When I first started, I didn't even know how to edit a video. So
Yeah.
the fact that like the confidence that I'm learning from here, and then how to practically add these things, make them routine. Sorry, I was just looking at my phone, it's buzzing, sorry.
Good.
To make them routine. So I know I could apply that to the next thing. I do have a Substack. So it's not anything to talk about right now, but I know I'm setting up a schedule to do something with that. I actually have somebody on Twitter who wants to connect and like do like Twitter spaces and stuff. It's just reach. So like the way of the world, and I actually was talking to this about this with somebody. Social like entertainment really is these people, they are getting us in this metaverse if you think about it. So the way I look at it, like, because at first in the beginning of the year, I'm like, I don't want no parts of all this digital stuff. As soon as they come with this stuff, I'm heading to the mountains of not here,
Yeah.
But then the other day I was like, why leave? Like, if these people are going to do meta, and I'm not saying I'm going into some metaverse, but you know what I mean, where everything is a social entertainment, down to like even Venmo. There's like social, like people who you would just think it's just transferring money, right? But there's a social aspect to it. I see what these people are doing. So if we're gonna do this, fine. We're gonna build this world, then we need good people in this world, right? To make sure that we have good messages going out into that world, because that world is gonna be full of a lot of lost souls. That's why these connections and everything, like it's just a new world for me. Like I said, meeting you and meeting other people, making different connections. So that's the plan next year, heavily into everything That Girl Casey 33.3, because this is it, a time such as now. I've been hearing that verse over and over again the past week. I know God is talking to me. God is like, yo, I'm opening mad doors for you. Like, your coach you were his fan. Now he's your coach. Like, these are the doors I'm opening. So like anything is possible. So like I need your voice. I need you to get out there, and I need you to, wake people up to certain deceptions. Like, now is the time. And so those are like the big things that are clicking in. So that's where I'm going with it for sure. Full steam ahead. This year was a lot of clarification, pulling different layers from me and shedding off a lot of, dead feelings. Next year is full steam, like going straight through with everything. No stopping, none of that. Like, I'm taking a break, no breaks, no time for breaks. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I think this will be the last question. So what would you say to someone who's on the fence about joining the coaching program?
I mean, it's very valuable. It's priceless. Okay. So that's number one. But I don't want to say but. You just have to come with your cup empty and not like be like, when Justin says this is what to do, just do it. Okay, like just do it, because he knows what he's saying. Don't have him say, you do this, and then you be like, yeah, well, I don't know, because the last time I had tried this thing. No, first of all, it doesn't make sense that you're paying somebody to tell you this is what you do, and then you're still like, I don't know. What do you do? So come with your cup empty. Even me, I think one day I was saying something to you, and you replied something back to me, and then I started like, yeah, but I don't know, because then I was like, you know what, Casey, shut up. He said, do it, just do it. So I had to catch myself, like, definitely empty out your cup. Even if you, like I said, if you already have a channel, you've been doing things your way, you obviously are thinking about getting some assistance. You feel like you need some help. So, okay, great. First step, you have enough self realization to know, like, yo, I need a little bit of help. So now you found the perfect coach, straight up. I have no problem saying that. But it's you who has to come with the cup empty. That is very important, because I came in, even though, okay, yeah, I had already been doing this, and and there was times where I made things happen on my own. But if it doesn't make sense of how you got, like how this video went viral, or not viral, but you had gotten 2,000 views on this video and then not on the next one. If it doesn't make sense, you're still just trying to find something that sticks. Then you find something that sticks, you don't realize you do, and then you still go somewhere else. You could kill your channel. And so just come with your cup empty, because now everything, it'll click, it'll make sense. Like, oh, so that's how that happened. Okay, so now when it happens, I know to grab the wheel, and I know exactly what to do with it, because Justin told me everything he says to do works.
Yeah. I really appreciate that. And I definitely notice a trend of certain people, they come in and they're kind of like, combative. They're like, I'll tell them something to do and I know for a fact it's going to work. And they're just, but I did this and this and this and
Yeah.
it didn't work. I'm just like, okay, well, I can't force you to do it, but I know exactly what you need to do. If you want to listen, that'd be great. But, and then it's
I
like,
see.
certain people. So like, for example, you came in and immediately was just like completely bought in and you immediately did everything that I told you to do. And then you got monetized pretty quickly. Montre, who's also in the program, he came in, immediately did every single thing that I told him to do. And on a daily basis, he does the same thing. And his channel's blowing up right now. And we just recently made a change. I mentioned to him like quickly on a group call. He made the change instantly the same day. And now like instantly his views are shooting up like absolutely crazy. And it's just the people who listen and they just implement quick. It just works every single time.
It does.
Last question, real quick, just because you kind of brushed over it. Do you think that, because this is definitely like something that I'm big on, that the fact that you paid like a decent amount of money to join, like, the amount that it costs is not small for most people. Do you think that had a benefit to you on getting the results and like wanting to implement with speed, like with swiftness that I'm talking about, and also with your buy-in and willingness to be open-minded?
Yes. So when I said it's priceless, I had looked at another coaching. There's a particular person who I'm sure is known for coaching on YouTube. And I had looked into it, and that person was a certain like smaller amount, but this was like 6-7 months ago. And I was like, I don't know, and I didn't do it. I'm happier that I paid more money to coach with you because again, like I said, with that other person, I would have got like some online steps and everything. I can guarantee I know who I am as a person. I sometimes I need somebody to hold my hand and walk across, help me across the street. Because I would have got all the stuff. I would have downloaded it to this computer, did it for 3 days, and then moved on. And my consistency was not there. So yes, number one, paying you that amount. Yeah, it's the incentive to be like, all right, let me pay attention and try to implement. But what you bring to it makes a person stay. At least for me, I am not consistent. I know, and it sounds bad. It's not that I'm not consistent in some totally self-destructive way, but I know my weaknesses, right? So, and I'm working on that consistency. So that doesn't mean I'm going to stay like that, right? But through the program, there you go, where I'm learning how to be consistent. So there are people who blow money on stuff anyway, and they still don't do it. So you still have to provide value because really the amount, it's a good amount, right? But like I said, we, especially in America, I mean, we could blow money easily and then just don't do something. How many people go to school and then just like don't finish college? Like, so
that always amazes me when people think, a few $1,000s is a lot of money, and then they're willing to throw $100,000 a semester to go to school and go into debt. It's like, the stuff that you can learn online with this coaching program and others is actual skills that can make you a lot of money really quickly. And you don't have to go into 6 figures of debt in order to acquire the skills. But I just asked the question because that's like a big part for me, why I'm willing to pay so much money. Like I said, it's not like $50,000 is nothing to me. Like it hurts every single time I pay $10,000 to join a new coaching program. It hurts. And there's like a part of my brain, excuse my language, but I call it the bitch voice. It's like saying, don't do it. Like you can't afford to lose this money. And then that's when I know I need to do it because I need to kill that bitch voice. And it just makes you want to it makes you act with more tenacity if it does hurt a little bit. And that's what I've noticed for me. So I was just curious if you felt the same way. But
again, like I said, the person the program has to bring value because there are people out here who just blow money on anything and then they don't, they just don't do it. So you bring the value. So that's why I said it's priceless anyway. So yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, any last thoughts?
I mean, I'm excited to like see where this is all going. And I feel like I'm prepared for, like anything else, there's ups and downs in life. So when I say prepared, let me say this. I don't ever want to leave the program. Not even in a sense like, oh, well, Casey, if you go really, really viral, like, why would you stay? I like this community. I like this, I feel like, okay, this is a place of decompression. So yeah, that's how valuable this is. Like, bro, I did not expect it to be all this. Like, I'm like, Like,
Yeah.
like, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's definitely what I'm trying to build. Just a group of people. Not to make it too much about me, but a group of people that I feel proud that I'm able to give them the skills to grow on the platform. Like I will turn certain people down if they want to get in for multiple different reasons. Like if it's a OnlyFans girl that wants to grow their OnlyFans, like I'm just no, you're
Right.
not coming in. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'll only give the tools to the right people. So yeah, if you guys, anybody watching, you want to get the strategies that I teach implemented into your channels, you can go ahead and click the link in the description, book a call, or shoot me a DM on Instagram if you have any questions. Yeah, Casey, I appreciate you doing this. Congratulations on getting monetized. And I think the future is definitely bright for your channel. So looking forward to seeing that. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you haven't already, the link will be in the description for Casey's channel. You can go check her out. And I'll see y'all very soon.